What's going on, everybody? Non here, and it's time for this week in distribution for Magic and Pokemon. There's a lot of really interesting stuff hitting, and everybody can imagine, there's ton of stuff getting blown out relatively quickly, and there's a lot of product that's in open order from the Pokemon Company right now. So let's walk through it one at a time, but let's touch on Magic very quickly. And again, this is the website I always use. It's illustrative of what's going on in the market. Uh, Innistrad Remastered collector boosters are still available at MagX. Nowhere else. The finish line bundles are all gone for Aether Drift collector boosters. There's still some available here. It's interesting what's happened with those price wise because they've kind of got smashed now that everybody and their brother can list them on TCG Player. I think it's a fantastic opportunity to buy. Personally, I think the set's quite good, and I know a lot of the talking heads on YouTube have bashed it because of the concept. But it kind of reminds me of Kamigawa Neon Dynasty meets Amonkhet a little bit. But in the pre-release in our store went quite well. People loved it. The cards are super playable. It's a lot of fun, and from what I hear, the box toppers, the foil mythics are really difficult to get, and the fractured foils are super insane to get as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. I guess the good news is, from my perspective, is the weaker Aether Drift is here as we go into the new Tarkir, Dragons of Tarkir, whatever the next set is coming up in April. I would imagine pre-order is going to open this week or next week. I would imagine that the ordering is going to be super light, which is good because that'll be the last set that is on open order before the orders for Final Fantasy are due, which is going to be absolutely insane. So anyway, moving on, we still have Commander decks here available across the board. And it's interesting. There's been a bunch of margin Commander decks, and most or a handful of local game stores have just smashed the margin. It's been erased to zero, which is pretty stupid, but whatever. It doesn't really happen in Pokemon at this point because there's so much demand. But not much else to talk about in Magic. Let's talk about Pokemon. So I don't want to touch too much on Magazine Exchange in particular, but we did get Paradox Rift ETBs restocked last week for about 3 seconds across multiple distributors. We tried to order a bunch. We managed to get a case. So everything's super heavily allocated from that perspective. Mad Al had an interesting offer where they actually had Temporal Forces booster boxes. And I've talked about this for 2 months. The fact that when the stock tracker on Pokemon Center was working, they all of a sudden showed over 20,000 boxes. And my theory was that was staging. Took out the distribution. So I don't know if that's true or if it's not, but they did limit to 2 boxes. They also listed 151 UPCs. The Charizard UPC from Lost Origins-ish timeframe. They had 151 bundles and Surging Sparks bundles. And it seems like everybody's getting a refresh or fresh restock of Surging Sparks booster bundles in some pretty heavy quantity, and then 151 bundles in a little bit lesser quantity. Also found out this week that Twilight Masquerade is on open order from the Pokemon Company for booster bundles. Heard that from multiple distributors, and obviously here we have it's on the Magazine Exchange public website. And Paldean Fate, one of the leading indicators I use is GT Games or whatever. It's a wholly owned subsidiary of MG Holdings, which buys directly from the Pokemon Company. They run distribution of all TCGs and sports cards for Walmart. But they tend to get their product first, and then they'll have a pretty sizable sale on Walmart.com, and it'll just say fulfilled by GT, whatever it is. So they've had 151 bundles, They've had all the prismatic items. They actually had the surprise boxes this week for $50 per, which even though it's over double MSRP, quite honestly, I still don't think it's a bad price. And then they had Paldean Fates for $40. So, generally speaking, I've seen them offering items about 4 to 5 weeks before I can get them from distribution. So I just keep an eye on that, and it's been pretty beneficial from my perspective, because it seems like the Pokemon Company is shipping their reprinted product / restocks to big box stores first, because you cast a wider net, and then a later wave of allocation ends up pushing through distribution. So that's Twilight, Paradox Rift, as I mentioned. We also got a wave of build and battle boxes. Bought a ton of those. The price on those isn't too bad. $12.50 per ish from distribution, and right now they're selling for anywhere between $20 and $25 per for 4 packs, which is it's pretty cool. It's source packs, right? Obsidian Flames booster bundles. My understanding is they are available for open order as well. I know a lot of folks said that 1, 2, 3, and 4 from Scarlet Violet are not subject to reprint. I call bullshit. I think 2, 3, and 4 are all going to get reprints, because quite honestly, we have 13 months before they rotate out, and there's going to be more product coming to market. Anybody who thinks otherwise, in my view, is sadly mistaken, because the market needs more product. Now, I personally think it's booster bundles, and again, I did throw out the concept of the the difficulty of getting plastic product from China, but as I research more and more, I tend to think they're pushing out booster bundles because it's the quickest, easiest, and most efficient way to pack product, least amount of cardboard. Now, booster boxes, one could argue, is a more efficient way, but for some reason the bundles are coming, and I think the bundles are coming, quite honestly, because it's a much lower price point, and it's more available for people. Who's going to buy a booster box for $180, generally speaking, if you can buy a bundle for, call it, 25 to 30? It's just they're smaller bites, and they tend to be far more inclusive of all of the clientele in the space. So let's see. Nothing from why am I drawing a blank? Oh my God. Nothing from SVO2. I'm totally drawing a blank. But yeah, Obsidian, yes. Paradox, yes. Temporal, yes. Twilight, yes. Surging, yes. Nothing for Stellar Crown. Nothing at all. And those booster boxes are going to be sold out very, very quickly. They're now about to push to 175 on TCG Player. The fact that they're still available on Pokemon Center is crazy. They're going to be gone soon. So let's talk real quick. So there is a second wave of some of the prismatic evolutions items now. The two pack blisters here are new. But the binder collections, the ETBs we talked about last week, coming out from distribution between $90 and $95. There's almost always a second wave of product that comes out on release. This, in my view, is the second wave. Now, obviously not the 2-pack blisters, because that's new. The surprise boxes are new, but the posters, the stickers, the binders, and the ETBs, and in my opinion, are all from the second wave. And they're all super limited, and the price is jacked up. So other than that, we have a handful of EX boxes that are starting to get super interesting. But that's pretty much it. Journey Together. Allocations have gone out pretty much across the board except for PhD and Alliance. Hoping to get those any day now. Not a huge deal. But it's super interesting, because it seems like a lot of the distributors are either allocating very, very heavily, or they're saying, "Hey, I can get X number for you. Are you interested? If not, I'm gonna take the offer to somebody else." So a lot of times you have 5 seconds to say yes or no with a pretty sizable buy. So it's super fun and super dynamic, but it's also challenging, which makes it really interesting right now. So anyway, guys, Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and enjoy the Discord. A lot of times we'll get some largest tranches of product, and I've been selling it on our website. Right now we have Surging Sparks bundles for $370 for display. Or I shouldn't say display. For a count of 10, you order two, you get a sealed case of 20. But things like that, and if you're in the Discord, it doesn't cost you anything. You'll get a notification for it. So anyway, guys, enjoy your Sunday evening, and we'll talk soon.